Ben 10 is one of my favorite cartoon series ever, and it has a lot of bad guys. From actually scary antagonists like Ghost Freak to goofy ones like Dr. Animo. But none of them, and I mean none of them, stand up to Vilgax.
Be afraid. You cannot run. You cannot hide from me. I will find you. For you, there is no tomorrow. You are going to regret sending me to the null void for what little remains of your miserable life.
I love Vilgax so much. This Davy Jones looking alien is my favorite villain from the series, or at least from OG Ben 10. And everyone who watched Cartoon Network as a kid most likely knows who he is. Which is crazy because he only physically appears in like a handful of episodes. But every single time he shows up, he means business. And the great thing about Vilgax, at least to me, is when Ben takes down a villain and they show up again, we don't really see them like they're a scary threat anymore. Because Ben has beaten them in the past, so of course he'll be able to beat them again. But Vilgax? He basically loses every time he and Ben fights, but every time he shows up again, he still feels like such a threat. The aura emanating from him is just so intense. Whether he appears in the modern day, the future, or hell, even a dream sequence, Vilgax has this energy about him that I just can't explain. And I do think that a lot of it has to do with his voice and his design. Because, oh my god, Vilgax looks so cool. And the funny thing is, he didn't always look like this. Because in the first episode, he looks like this. But then, after he gets hit with the Oppenheimer special, we don't see him again for a while. And when he finally shows up again, he looks like this. He basically goes from someone whose girl you could steal with ease to a man who will steal your girl, your sister, hell, even your grandma. And his voice, oh my god, his voice.
I am Vilgax, and I have come for the Omnitrix.
This is exactly what I imagine when I think of an alien dictator who is feared by the entire galaxy. But he's not perfect. But none of that is his fault. The later series kind of messed with his mojo and made him the butt of the joke a lot of the time, which is why I think people just don't like him as much anymore. He loses a lot of his cool factor after the original show, and he just gets kind of worse and worse as the series went on. But the OG series plays it straight. Vilgax is a menace. You can blow him up, strand him in another dimension, throw him out of a moving spaceship kilometers in the air. Vilgax simply does not care. He always comes back. The first time Ben fights him, Ben gets thrown around like a rag doll. And a lot of that comes from the fact that in the first season, a lot of Ben's villains underestimate him because he's just a kid with a watch that can turn him into monsters. But Vilgax isn't holding back because he knows what the Omnitrix is capable of. So even though Ben might be a child, he does not care. He will do whatever he needs to get the watch. And then, as Ben is about to lose the fight, Grandpa Max shows up and tells him to get the hell out of there. He then tells Ben that Vilgax is not your average villain of the week, and Ben needs to be careful, which does two things for us. Basically confirms that Grandpa Max knows more than he's been letting on, because this is the first season, and Grandpa Max has knowledge about the watch and a lot of other stuff that he really has no business knowing about as a retired plumber.
He's not a monster. He's an alien. I mean, look at him. What else could he be?
And two, this makes Vilgax seem like an even bigger threat. Because Grandpa Max, for the most part, has always helped Ben and supported him in his crime fighting. And now for him to basically tell Ben to back off just adds another layer of cool to Vilgax. Because for the most part, Max has just been your happy-go-lucky crime-fighting grandpa for Season 1. But as soon as Vilgax shows up, this man locks in. He becomes a different person. And it makes sense that Max feels this way, because even at the end of the episode when Ben's watch is glitching out and constantly transforming him into different aliens in the fight with Vilgax, Vilgax is not just holding his own, he still has the upper hand, because he is just that guy. The show builds him up as this unbeatable villain. And for the most part, he is. Ben would have lost to him at the end, if not for Grandpa Max priming the self-destruct on his ship. And yeah, you could say, of course Ben was going to win this fight because, you know, it's his show, his name is in the title. But that just adds another point to why Vilgax is just so cool. If it takes a kid armed with the most powerful weapon in the universe, and the universe's best plumber to take him down 2-on-1, you know this man is different. And then when he shows up again, he teams up with Kevin. And even though Kevin is the one who frees him from the block of ice, Vilgax does not skip a beat. He immediately assumes control of the operation to steal the watch and makes Kevin his underling. And even though Ben has master control in this episode, Vilgax still basically wins, up until the last moment where Kevin gets in his way trying to take the watch for himself. And then Ben gets rescued by Gwen. This has now been 2 for 2 that Ben has lost to him and had to get bailed out by his family. Vilgax is just too much of a threat for Ben to beat him on his own. So they always have to resort to some sneaky tactic or just hope that something goes wrong for him. Vilgax is the best villain in the series, in my opinion, and I absolutely love him to death. And yes, I know the later series messed him up, because please tell me why the 300-year-old alien dictator is scared of Mauve Riedel. Like, he is so scared that he jumps in his ship and leaves the planet after seeing her. And yeah, it's a joke, but still, man. In OG Ben 10, they made fun of Vilgax, but Vilgax never acted like a little scaredy cat. The more he was made fun of, the more he wanted to absolutely obliterate this kid. And it's not that I don't like Omniverse. Hot take incoming, I probably like Omniverse just a teeny bit more than OG Ben 10. And that's mainly because the world itself feels more alive and interesting than in the OG show. I also just really like Rook. Having Ben have a new partner that's fresh out of the academy is great, because he can explain a bunch of things to the audience and use the excuse that he needs to tell Ben all these things. Because while Ben is a hero, he doesn't really know a lot about the galaxy and how any of it works. The OG show is still amazing, but I think I just prefer Omniverse a little bit more. And yeah, I'll be the first to say that, oh my god, Vilgax looks so bad in Omniverse. But that's fine, I get they had to redesign him because of the new art style, but nothing will ever compare to the OG design. I just absolutely adore Vilgax, and I hope that we one day get a new Ben 10 show that takes him back to his roots. Because while he is passable in Alien Force and Ultimate Alien, he is straight up pathetic in Omniverse. Even when he erases all of the Bens from the multiverse, I just can't feel like he is such a threat, because, bro, he got scared of an alien redneck. He got so scared after seeing her that he jumped in his ship and sped away from the planet just to get away from her. Like, that's not Vilgax, man. The planet-conquering absolute menace that can go toe-to-toe with Ben on his best day, that is Vilgax. I just really like him, even though his presence basically is non-existent after the original show, and I just feel like we need to have a better Vilgax interpretation whenever the show gets rebooted again for like the 9 millionth time, because it's gonna happen. Nobody liked that new one. But yeah, thank you a lot for listening to me rant about a stupid cartoon alien squid guy, and have an amazing rest of your day.